Name four animal and two species of flora which are on the verge of extinction. So animal and plant on the verge of extinction. Four animal: cheetah, pink-head duck, mountain pink-head duck, mountain quail, forest spot owlet. Two plant: wild mahua, that is Maruca insignis, Habardia heptaneuron, a species of grass. Name six group of flora and fauna under which they are classified by International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resource. Normal species: species whose population level are considered to be normal for their survival. Endangered species: species which are in danger of extinction because their population is declining. For example, black buck, Indian rhino, lion-tailed macaw, and Indian wild ash. Vulnerable resource: these are the species whose population has declined so much that they are likely to move into These are the species whose population has declined so much that they are likely to move in the endangered species. For example, blue sheep, Asiatic elephant, gigantic dolphin. Rare species: species with a small population. If care not taken, then it may become endangered species. Example: Himalayan brown bear, desert fox, wild Asiatic buffalo, hornbill are endemic species. Species which are only found in particular area, usually isolated by nature or geographical barrier. Usually isolated or by natural or geographical barrier. For example, Andaman tree Nicobar pigeon and Andaman wild pig. Extinct species: these are the species which are not found after search or known or likely area where they may occur. Example, that is the species which were existing earlier but are not seen today. Name any four resources which are obtained from our biodiversity. The resources are wood, rubber, medicines, and dyes. Write four major reasons for the depletion of forest cover: deforestation for agriculture process, shifting cultivation which is still practiced in subsistence part of tribal belt, large-scale development of river valley project. Mining activity has also resulted in deforestation. For example, the tiger reserve in West Bengal is seriously threatened by the ongoing dolomite mining. Environmental pollution and forest fire have also led to depletion of resources. So deforestation for agriculture process, shifting cultivation which is still practiced in substantial part of tribal belt, large scale development of river valley project. Environmental pollution and forest fire have also led to depletion of fire. Write three adverse impact of dolomite mining in the Buxar Tiger Reserve on the ecosystem. Adverse effect of dolomite mining in the Buxar Tiger Reserve: caused ecological it has caused ecological damage. It has blocked the migration route for several species. It has caused ecological damage. Caused it has blocked the migration of several species. It has disturbed the nature habitat of many species. List six factors which have led to the decline in India biodiversity: habitat destruction, overexploitation, environmental pollution, forest fire, hunting and poisoning, hunting and poaching, environmental pollution, forest fire, overexploitation, and habitat destruction. Write four more most important cause of environmental destruction. unequal access of resources, unequal access to resources, inequitable consumption of resources, differential sharing of responsibility for environmental well-being, overpopulation. So four most important causes of environmental destruction are unequal access to resources, inequitable consumption of resource, differential sharing of responsibility for e- environmental well-being, and overpopulation. The destruction of biodiversity is highly correlated with the loss of cultural diversity. Give for fact to support this statement. Such laws have increasingly marginalized and impoverished many forest-dependent communities. Among the poor, women are affected more than men, for women bear the major responsibility of basic subsistence need. With the depletion of these resources, the drudgery of women increases, for they had to work for more than 10 kilometers to collect these resources, which in turn affect their health and negligence of home and children. The indirect impact of degradation, example drought or flood, etc., also hit the poor and hardest. Poverty is a direct outcome of environmental destruction. Why do we need to conserve our biodiversity? Conservation of biodiversity is necessary because it prevents the ecological diversity, preserves our life support system, water, air, and soil, preserves the genetic diversity of plant and animal for better growth and breeding of species. Fisheries too are heavily dependent on the maintenance of aquatic biodiversity. List various provisions made by the Indian Wildlife Protection Act in 70 for protecting habitat. An all-India list of protected species were published. The thrust was on protecting the remaining population of certain endangered species by banning hunting, giving a legal protection to their habitat, and restricting trade in wildlife. Right, four step taken by the government for the conservation of wildlife. Four step taken by the conservation of the government for wildlife is banning hunting, giving legal protection to their habitat, and restricting trade in wildlife. Many wildlife sanctuary has also been developed and national park have been set up. So four are banning hunting, giving legal protection to the wildlife, and restricting trade in wildlife. Many wildlife sanctuary have been developed and natural national park have been set up. Which agency manages forests in India? Name three broad categories in which the forests are classified. The forests in India are owned and managed by the government through the Forest Department. The forests are classified in three categories: reserve forest, protected forest, and unclassed forest. What are permanent forest estate and why? Which state has maximum forest cover falling under this category? Write its percentage sharing in the total forest area of the state. Reserved and protected forests are referred to as the permanent forest estate maintained for the purpose of producing timber and other forest products. Madhya Pradesh has the largest area under permanent forest, constituting 75% of its total forest area. Name five states which have large reserved and protected forests respectively. Five states having large percentage of preserved and forest are Jammu and Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal. Protected forest: Bihar, Haryana, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Orissa, and Rajasthan. What are unclassed forests? Name two areas which have high percentage of this forest. Unclassed forests are the other forests and waste land belonging to both government and private. Unclassed forests are the other forests which are wasteland belonging to both government and private individual as well as local community. Two areas with high percentage of unclassed forests are northeastern state and part of Gujarat. Write three examples of conservation of biodiversity at community level. So the three example of community participation in Sharikha Tiger Reserve, Rajasthan villagers have fought against mining by getting the Wildlife Protection Act. In many areas, villagers themselves are protecting habitat and explaining rejecting government involvement. The inhabitants of five villages in the Alwar district of Rajasthan have declared 1200 hectares of forest as the Bhairav Dev the Calf Sanctuary, declaring their own set of rules and regulations which do not allow hunting and are protecting the wildlife against any outside encroachment. The famous Chipko movement in the Himalaya has successfully restricted deforestation and had also shown that the community afforestation with indigenous species can be a great success. Explain the Beach Batao Andolan and Navdayan concept. Farmer and citizen group like the Beach Bachao Andolan in Tehri and Naveda has shown that adequate level of diversified crop production without the use of synthetic chemical are possible and ineco- economically variable. Write two characteristics of joint forest management program and its two benefit for the community, which India state started the program first of all and when. Joint forest management program involved local community in the management and restoration of degraded forest. It was first started in Odisha in 1988. Two characteristics are it depends on the formation of local institutions that undertake protection activity, most on degraded forest land managed by the forest department, and the local community also work toward restoration of such degraded forests. Two benefits are the member of this community are entitled to intermediate benefited like non-timber forest products. They are also entitled to share in the timber harvest of successful production. What is biodiversity? Why is biodiversity important for human life? Biodiversity denotes variety of living beings, including all type of organisms, plant and wildlife diverse in form and function but closely integrated in a system through multiple network of interdependencies. It's important we human along with all living organisms form a complex web of ecological system in which we are only a part and are dependent on this system for our own existence. For example, the plant, animal and microorganisms we create, the quality of air we breathe and the water we drink, and the soil that produces our food without which we cannot survive. Forests play a key role in the ecological system as they are also the primary producer on which other organisms live. Write a brief note on Project Tiger. Project Tiger was one of the well-published wildlife campaign in the world launched in 1973. Initially, it has shown an increase in tiger population till 1989, but in 1993 the tiger population dropped. There are 27 tiger reserves covering an area of 37,761 square kilometer. Tiger conservation has been viewed not only as an effort to save the endangered species but with the equal importance as a means of preserving both biotypes of sizable magnitude. Colbert National Park, Uttarakhand, Sundarban National Park, West Bengal, Bandhavan National Park, Madhya Pradesh, Sharishka Wildlife Sanctuary, Rajasthan, Manas Tiger Reserve, Assam. Give an account of Himalayan yew, highlighting its importance. The Himalayan yew is in trouble. The Himalayan yew, Texu wallacea, is a medicinal plant found in various parts of Himachal Pradesh and Arunachal Pradesh. A chemical compound called Taxol is extracted from the bark, needle, twig, and root of the tree. It has been successfully used to treat some cancer. The drug is now the biggest selling anti-cancer drug in the world. The species is under great threat due to over-exploitation. In the last one decade, thousands of yew trees have dried up in various parts of Himachal Pradesh and Arunachal Pradesh. Give the main characteristics of the Asiatic cheetah, where has it gone? The world's fastest land mammal, the cheetah, is a unique and specialized member of the cat family and can move at the speed of 112 km per hour. The cheetah is often mistaken for a leopard. Its distinguishing marks are the long, straight, polled, sharp line on the each side of the nose from the corner of its eye to its mouth. Prior to the 20th century, cheetahs were widely distributed through Africa and Asia. Today, the Asian cheetah is nearly extinct due to the decline of available habits and prey. The species were declared extinct in India long back in 1952. 33% of area should be under forest. So forest area in a country is far lower than the desired 33% of geographical area as outlined in the National Forest Policy. Forests are considered essential for the maintenance of ecological balance. The livelihood of millions of people who are on the fringe of these forests depend upon it. Forests play a key role in the ecological system as these are also primary producer on which all other living beings depend. The forest preserves the ecological diversity and our life support system, water, air and soil. It also preserves the genetic diversity of plant, animal for better growth of species and breeding. The destruction of forests have marginalized and improved assess the need for the conservation of forest and wildlife in India. There is a need of conserve the forest and wildlife in India. Conservation of biodiversity is necessary because it preserves the ecological diversity. Forest and wildlife preserve our life support system, air, water, air and soil. For example, the plant, animal and microorganisms recreate the quality of the water, air we breathe, the water we drink and the soil that produces our food without which we cannot survive. It also preserves the genetic diversity of plant and animal for better growth and breeding of species. For example, in agriculture, we are still dependent on traditional crop varieties. Fisheries are too are heavily dependent on the maintenance of aquatic biodiversity.